They've been a common sight in Japan for decades. Little mini trucks like the 1991 Honda Acty, owned by Scott Chamberlain of New Milford, Connecticut. He bought it on an impulse in the fall of 2020.
Basically, it's a COVID project. We were coming home, going by the grocery store, and my wife spotted it and pointed at it and said, "Stop." I drove up to it and asked the proprietor if it was for sale. He said yes. I plunked down $500. I said, "I'll come back later and we'll work out the details."
The Acty and similar models in pickup and van form made by other manufacturers have never been sold new in the United States.
The reason is pretty simple, that as it stands right here now, under U.S. law, this truck would be blatantly illegal as to emissions, as to safety, as to a ton of different requirements.
But they can be sold if they're antiques.
This is what they call a K-class vehicle, KEI. And essentially, much in the United States, as we have tax incentives and commuter parking, privileges for electric cars, this is a legislative class creation in Japan. If the car is less than 12 feet long, less than 6 feet wide, 660 cc's or less in engine size, and a few other requirements, you get exempted from a bunch of Japanese laws, which makes it economically desirable for city-dwelling Japanese people to buy cars of this sort.
The engine in Chamberlain's Acty only produces 38 horsepower.
It's a 660 cc slant 3-cylinder. Essentially, it's a Honda Goldwing motor with 3 cylinders lopped off. On a good day, you might get 70 miles an hour out of it, but it's running flat out.
Chamberlain has given his Acty a major refreshening.
I got it as a complete running registered car, and I drove it that way for a while. But it had some underbody corrosion issues, nothing major. It'd been a city car, but there were some things. This car was a Tokyo car, so it lived its life, parked on city streets. And you can imagine 30 years of being, parked in Tokyo, it got pretty banged up. So it had a ton of rash from one end to the other.
Finding parts for the Acty was mostly easy.
It's had the interior stripped out, all the glass, all the rubber. It's not a frame off because it doesn't have a frame, but close to that. The hardest part on this car has been the windshield. That windshield took 6 months and $1,600 to acquire.
The right-hand drive, 4-wheel drive Acty draws attention wherever Chamberlain takes it.
I've never had anybody react negatively. Big bikers like it, American car driving people like it, women love it, and kids are crazy for it. They want to sit in it and crawl all over it. People tend to think it's just like the coolest thing they've ever seen. I take it to work. My office is about 7.5 miles away, so that's a nice drive. I will take it, to the store. It's got a dump sticker on it, so it runs errands. It's used as a truck.
Chamberlain has added personalized license plates that read kawaii.
That is the Japanese word for cute, or adorable, or lovable. It also is a reference to the culture of kawaii in Japan, where cuteness and vulnerability and just adorableness is a cultural value in their society. So looking at this car, I said, what do I call it? And that sums it up. It's adorable, it's lovable, it's cute.
That's Ride Connecticut. I'm Bud Wilkinson. And if you haven't subscribed to Ride Connecticut's YouTube channel, please do so right now.